Pokemon Masters was announced a few months ago, and in that time, we've learned a lot about these games. Gameplay trailers, as well as regular information, has answered most people's questions about Pokemon Masters, but the biggest question still remains. Are we forced to use the main character in the storyline of Pokemon Masters? Because when it comes to most Pokemon games, you're kind of stuck as the protagonist. Well, initially looking at the gameplay, it's kind of mixed. Now, from some gameplay, like on the Pokemon Masters official YouTube channel, we can see examples of being able to choose whatever team we want. We have Rosa, Blue, and Maylene, and no main character in sight, and it seems like the game functions just fine. But then, in other forms of gameplay, it seems like the main character is always just kind of hanging around, whether they're useful or not. So this makes people wonder, like, oh, is this just for special training that you can use whatever characters you've unlocked, paid for, or whatever, but then when it comes to completing and beating main parts of the story, you need to use the main character, or else what's the point? But we can even see in other aspects of gameplay where the main character isn't visible, even though we're going up against characters like Barry, who seem to be a part of the story. And also on the official Pokemon YouTube channel, in one of their trailers, we can see Brendan versus Barry. While Brendan is a protagonist, he's not the main character of Pokemon Masters, so it looks like you're kind of free to do whatever you want. Now, to test this, the second I was able to edit my team because I had unlocked enough characters through the story, I removed my protagonist, and the game let me do it. So Verlisify approved. However, that isn't the end of the story, because the game tries to be really cheeky about it to make you use your main character as long as possible, because when you actually get into the matches, look at that. They recommend having a grass type and electric type, which also kind of plays in with the characters that you've just unlocked. You get Rosa and Snivy. Well, she's a grass type and she's also a 5-star trainer, so has a little extra power behind her initially. And then electric, because you're a protagonist and you get a Pikachu. Okay, so we can swap out our protagonist, but do we actually need Pikachu to win in the early stages of the game? Are they trying to rig it against us? Well, apparently Rosa Snivy is an absolute boss. I one-shot both of those fields, and then Whitney's Miltank came in as a level 1 character and one-shot the Mareanie with Body Slam. So I didn't need the electric weakness, I just need to use a standard 2-star move from a character that's given to you, and you can pass the first battle. Cool. What about one of the first major battles then, when we have to face off against the villain who's trying to steal our Pokemon? Well, it's the same story. You just come in, Snivy one-shots everything, and then Whitney's now slightly stronger Miltank still takes out the main Pokemon that you're fighting against. So it seems like Pikachu is a non-factor. And then that got me thinking about the gameplay and trailers that we've seen with all kinds of different characters at all kinds of points in the story, and what happens if you just get really lucky and you get one of the electric type sync pairs early on, or you just spend a ton of money. Now, I didn't get Lieutenant Surge, Hal, or Sophocles, but it seems like you can just kind of invalidate the main character depending on which character that you get, especially with the Generation 7 trainers having 4 stars compared to your 3, so coming off with initially stronger power. Okay, but we were able to make it through the early parts of the game, so maybe that's just super free. What about the battle against Barry? Because, once again, they're saying, hey, you need some grass and electric types. Rosa's going to carry you, but you know that Piplup is a little stronger than you might expect. So far, I'm not being punished.
I wish my dad could see me now!
Dang. This is fire.
Let's go! Here we go!
I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. Oh, what's that? Go straight into the energy ball? Yeah, let's do that. Let's use an X speed as well. Get that stats in there. Can we X speed twice? Alright. Oh, that isn't working like it should have. So yeah, these guys are just a little stronger. We don't need to use the potion yet. We're still okay. Everything's still okay. Get in the groove. No hesitation. Okay, the battles have now gotten a bit more interesting. I will say that. No hesitation. Critical hit rate. Speed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. You need to die. 4, 3. We're not stacking up the things enough. Can we get a... I'm waiting for that cooldown, so apparently that's how, like, cooldown, potion. Uh-oh.
Let's go.
Water Sink Beam. Alright, we're not getting, like, hyper comboed by Barry. I think we're dead. Okay, that wasn't terrible. We're okay. Still okay. I'm still trying to get that potion in there. Rock throw. So now I'm spamming these 1-star moves so I can get the sync move. And just use Whitney's sync move to win. Sync move, go!
Ain't I a cutie?
Super cute rolling tackle. I love it. That's amazing. Dang! The damage! Oh, X special attack. Why aren't we using that? Okay, so I have to, like, memorize... You have to think really far ahead, don't you? So if I use the X special attack, then I'd be one-shotting both of the, Spiels. And then we get that extra damage in there. My goodness. Alright. I'm getting another special attack. And then I'm just going to use this energy ball. Waiting on it. Is that going to be enough?
What just happened?
Cool. Now, this was an interesting battle because I didn't get to one-shot the grass-weak Pokemon initially. Spiel took 2 hits, but this also kind of like encouraged the use of a sync move. That Barry ends up using a sync move against me, I get a sync move off, I try to get a little bit of extra power, and it just wasn't a one-shot fest. But even with Brock, who in theory should be weak to all of these water types going on and stuff, I didn't really have any problems. I pressed buttons, I was able to progress in the story, and I didn't need the main character despite the recommendation of needing an electric type Pokemon. So it seems like, at least early on, there's really no issues, and once you get past that stage, as we've seen through all the other gameplay in the trailers, you just kind of build whatever teams you want for all the weaknesses, and that's another thing about Pokemon Masters. It's encouraged to train a diverse cast. It's encouraged to buy the characters and then maybe pay some money or at least grind it up to get the gems to have extra characters. That way, if you make it to a strong trainer at some point in the game, well, you're going to be able to beat them by having the type advantage. This game is really based on type advantages more than anything. So even throughout the story, it's probably going to be encouraged to shelve your main character and then bring in a trainer that is going to be more suited for the battle at hand. And then the rest of the early game is pretty much the same story, but with a few extra shenanigans. So yeah, the game is clearly trying to nudge you into using Rose and Snivy because they're overpowered, having the main character and Pikachu level up alongside because these are easy, free battles, and then it seems like they want the third slot to be whatever the favorite of who you've unlocked is at this point. You like Whitney, Barry, Misty, Brock more than anyone else, you just go and throw them into that third slot, and also by this time, you will have earned enough gems to unlock a character, so you can maybe just use them as well, and once again, that RNG aspect could come into play to immediately invalidate the main character, so that makes things pretty easy. Now, when it comes to the cheeky side of this game, because once again, they pull in shenanigans, the villain's final Pokemon is weak against grass, so that's where Rose is just there to win it for you. And then when it comes to training area, it also kind of shows the same shenanigans. That the Strike course, Tech course, and Level Up course, they want you to use an electric type Pokemon, and also some of these courses have other typings that you might not have a strong suited team for, so the best thing to do is use your partner Pikachu, and then slap around these courses to get easy levels and items in the early game, and then power up that way. However, I took it on, and yeah, still don't need Pikachu. Did Lorelai's course? Boom. You can get through Lapras pretty easily and then clean up the rest of the team by just spamming or whatever strategy. And that's another thing to note, that at this point in the game, I haven't tried to play efficient or anything. I just used the characters and the Pokemon given to me, haven't done any training, haven't done any level ups, haven't done any unlocks, haven't done any side grinding. I've just ran it down straight into the game, and so far I haven't had any problems. Now, with this being Gacha game and having like mobile and having microtransactions inside of it, I feel like I'm gonna hit a wall at some point. But so far in the early game, needing Pikachu isn't a thing. So the main character, I would say, isn't really that relevant. Now, it can be helpful, can help you kind of progress, but also, once again, having a balanced team, that's going to be a good thing. And then when you even upgrade to some of the harder courses, yeah, we start getting into some wild typings that I haven't seen yet, and those aren't given to you at the beginning of the game, so things are just going to get more interesting from there. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that you need to know about the main character inside of Pokemon Masters. You aren't forced to use the main character. You can swap them out, but even if you do, you aren't forced by the game in some kind of ulterior way to keep using an electric type Pokemon. You can swap it out, you can persevere, and you can use the Pokemon that you want, which I think is pretty cool. And as we wrap up this video, I'd like to remind you guys to please leave a like and share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. In YouTube's crazy 2019 algorithm, that helps more than anything right now. Also, the channel gets targeted by dislike botting, which is pretty unfair, but you just gotta deal with it sometimes. And comment down below, did the video help out? Did you learn some extra things about the game? Do you think it was a really in-depth and cool discussion about Pokemon Masters? Because I do feel like this was a legitimate concern, that if you have to do the entire story with the main character, and you can only do the challenges or post-game while with like a full team of 3, that would be pretty unfortunate, but it looks like the devs thought ahead, and they want to, you know, just have the game be as free and open as possible. There's not even time gating when it comes to like training and stuff, so you just put the time into the game, you get the items, and then you get massively rewarded. So you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.